Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lung Pamay. This week, I'm gonna cover some more videos on VSTO. In this episode, I'll demonstrate how to create application level add-in for Excel. The features that you create in this kind of solutions are available to application itself, regardless of the workbooks that are open. Please check the video description for more details. Before we begin, if you haven't, please do not forget to subscribe for latest updates and to support my channel. Let's go ahead and create a new project. Search for VSTO Excel add-ins there for me, and we'll be using Visual Basic. And then here you can put any name you want. I'll name this as Excel plugin. This is the directory it's gonna save to, and this is a solution name. This is the framework you will be targeting. Okay, click on create. So if you don't see the Solution Explorer, Control Alt L, and then here is our this add-in object, like this workbook if you're coming from VBA background. And then here this is gonna run when it starts up and then starts down. Now we're gonna keep it basic, and then at the later, like coming episodes, we'll go more deeper into this. Okay. Now first, maybe we can add some components. First, let's go here, bring up, okay, let's bring up, maybe we'll first add the ribbon. So in the ribbon, there are two ways. One is the designer, visual designer, and the XML. We have done in VB a detailed XML, like customization. So this is gonna be like very similar, actually like pretty much the same. And this is the one where you can drag and drop. So let's start with this one now. We'll just keep the name as it is, ribbon1 and .vb. Click on add. So that will be for the ribbon. And I'm gonna press, by selecting this, I'm gonna press F4. This will bring the properties. Let me just drag it and keep it here for now. And this by default is in add-ins tab. So if you add anything here, it will show up in your add-ins tab. For example, Control Alt X will bring the toolbox. And let's say I add a button here. Let's say this. And let's add a message box. Hello world. I'm gonna start this up. Let's give it a moment. So I'll quickly demonstrate a couple of things. We'll touch base a little bit on task pane. We have done a detailed, like tutorial on the document level tutorial. So it's pretty much the same. There are like a few more things that you can do with the task pane. So we'll talk about that control, and then I'll show you more stuff around the ribbon for now. And again, we already learned how to refer to workbook, worksheets, range, and all these things. So yeah, that is all gonna be very useful in this episode as well. So if you haven't watched the prior episodes, I really recommend that you watch them. Okay, so for now, if you click on add-ins, you'll see our button. Click on and then hello world. Okay, one quick thing I'm gonna do here is so that every time we launch this, it does not open up that screen. If you scroll down towards the bottom, so show the startup screen, I'm gonna uncheck this and click on OK, so that we don't have to click on create new workbook every time. Okay, I'm gonna restart it one more time. Control F5. Okay, so no prompt. Okay, so if you want to add customization here or controls here, it's up to you. You can use this, or you can add custom tab for yourself. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm just gonna get rid of this, and then I'm gonna get rid of this as well. For now, I'm not gonna use this. You can also turn this tab into the custom tab from here as well. But I'm gonna right click on this and add a new ribbon tab. Let's call this, I'll put the label VSTO like this. You can actually name this whatever you want. Okay, I'm just gonna leave this as it is. Let me start off by adding a group. Okay, let's label this group as version info, something like that. And then gonna add a couple of labels here, 1, 2, and 3. This will show like welcome the username and or application username, and then the version info with the date, something like that. And I'm gonna add a new box here. Maybe here we can add a couple of buttons. I'll demonstrate how to add image and so on. Like one will be to launch, maybe to start up the task pane, and then the form and so on. I'll demonstrate a bit. Something like oops, I'm gonna try to put a control the group name, more control, something like that. And the third here I'll show you a couple of things, maybe the combo box and the drop down, how to use those, and then one more maybe here, selection, something like that. And maybe we can try some edit box as well. Maybe 3 edit box. This should show like number 1, 2, and then the third one will show the sum of these two. I'll demonstrate that a bit. And then maybe in the last group we can have a checkbox, maybe a couple of checkbox. And the toggle button, do you see? Okay, here it is. Okay, so this is how you can drag and drop the controls. Again, this can be set up. There is another way to take care of this, to set up the XML and then dynamically structure a few things. So this will be all from here for now. Let's start off with this, and let's see, let me quickly name this as well. Let's call this input box, something like that, input demonstration, and this is checkbox, something like that. So let me just start it up, Control F5, let's see how it looks like. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look like. At the moment there's no code behind it, so nothing is gonna happen. We'll talk about it now. Now for this label, let's take care of this first. Again, so when you design the add-in, it's totally up to you how you want to I mean, it all depends on your requirement. For example, like let's say you want to put in some functionality to export certain data to XML format or maybe to the CSV format. If that is something that you do a lot, maybe you can build in a functionality around that, around those area that you can use on daily basis. Maybe your work is to connect to, you know, like using APIs, you can connect to Google Sheets, for example, or to pull in data from databases like Oracle, Essbase, or SQL Server. It all really depends on how what is your requirement. So this will give you a basic idea, and then the functionality that you want to include, we can go deeper with some more examples in the upcoming videos. So for now, let me start off from here, how to update the labels. So F7 will take me to code editor. So this code is going to run as soon as the workbook. So the workbook, when this add-in open, this is going to run, and when the ribbon is being rendered, or whenever the ribbon is activated, loaded, as you can see here, it's going to run this code. So let's start off with this label 1, 2, and 3. So let's say that label 1 dot label is equal to hello, and then here we can put in the username or application username. So let's start off with, again, remember globals will be used to, you know, like reference to the objects that are available here. So this add-ins dot application dot username. Okay, this will give us the username, and maybe we can put this like this, and then we can also include the username. This is same as the one we do in Excel, so environ, and then here it's gonna be the username. Okay, and for now let's put this maybe in something like this. I'm just going to quickly load this up. So hello, and then this is my name, and with the username inside the like bucket. Let's change it to something like this. And in the second one, I'm just gonna say youtube.com/VBA A to Z. And then the third one, we can maybe add a version info. Version 1.0. Okay, so maybe this is for a start. This can be dynamically, like read whoever is logging at the moment. Okay, now for the second part, I'm just gonna add, we're not gonna go in detail about it for the form, but I'm gonna add a form. Let's call this form 1. And for now, I'm just gonna make it small like this and add the box here. Hello world, something like that. And I'm gonna add the user control as well. It's not in the list. User control. Okay, I'm just gonna keep the name as it is and click on add. I'm gonna leave it like this for now. This will be the one for dustbin. Again, here, message box, maybe hello from dustbin, something like that, or user control. Okay, now let's quickly show this. Oh, sorry. Now I'm gonna put a label to this. Let's call this show task pane. And for this, maybe we can just say show win form. Okay, so for this demonstration, we are gonna press add theme or private. Just give me 1 second. Theme, maybe control as user control 1, and then or private task pane as or we can just import this here like this, and we'll just say task pane. Now we can add some code here. So first will be our control, and then here our new user control for the task pane. Oops, sorry, equal to, and then this is gonna be, so if you're writing this from this add-in, for example, if you're writing from add-ins here, then you can just say me.custom task pane like this. But again, just I'm talking about this a little bit because you can refer those objects using globals. Okay, this add-in dot custom pane dot add, and then from here we're gonna add this control. And one small thing to point out here is you can specify the name of this task pane. For example, if you're doing this from if you remember, it shows a document control, something like that. If you do it from application level, I mean document specific project, but here you can specify a name, for example, custom task pane, something like this. And then you can also specify the width if you want, like the width is equal to something like around 300. And for example, if I start this up now, by default it's gonna show up on the right hand side. Sorry. Okay, I need to turn on the visibility. Hold on. Okay, so it shows up on the right hand side. If you want to show this side, you can also do that. And again, this is the title of the task pane, so you can also take care of that from here. Okay, let me just call this task pane, something like that. And a couple of, like, if you want to dock it towards the left hand side, you can do in this fashion. Dot dock position is equal to so here we can say left. Okay, now let's import this as well, like this. Still on the left hand side, just give me 1 second. Okay, there's this error, there's conflict with the namespace. Okay, I'm just gonna undo this import. Okay, starting it up again. That part of the code didn't run actually. So okay, so it starts out on this side. I click here, hello from task pane. Okay. Now let's show the form as well. Okay, so we can do the same thing, maybe user form as form 1, and when this is clicked we want to show this, and here, okay, there's okay, hello from WinForm. Let's try this. We will go more in detail about WinForm. Okay, we need to create an object. So we just need to add similar to this, for example, here, and then we'll say UF is new form 1. Control F5. Okay, so here's the form. Once I click on this, hello from WinForm. Okay, so this is how you can, like bring, like more controls into your project. Now let's try this one first, and then this, and then we'll try this one at the last. Because these are easy, we'll quickly do it now. So for this, let's add a label. Let's call this number 1, something like that. And the second one will, you can also change this, all this you can change it on runtime. Okay, let's call this total, and maybe we'll add some space like this so that they are aligned. Okay, let's see. Okay, so they seem to be aligned. That's good. Now when this is loaded up, we can pre-fill the numbers if we want. So edit box 1 dot value, sorry, dot text is equal to maybe 100, and 2 dot text, let's say 200, and the total will be 300, something like that. So this is how you're gonna write to those edit box. Okay, like this. Now let's add a quick whenever this edit box value get changed, we can update the total. Okay, so basically it's gonna be this plus this, right? Here this might error, so we can also use we can cast the type, or for now we're just gonna use maybe integer dot parse, and then we're just gonna do it like this, just to make sure that those are converted to number. Similarly, I'm gonna add this in this text box too as well, or maybe we can just say this dot toString. So 12, 24, 24, 24. Okay, so this is how you can read the value, or you can set the value for that. For the checkbox and toggle box, let's try that now. On load, we can set this again. me.checkbox 1.check is equal to true or false. Maybe we can do one of them to true, and then me.toggle button 1.check is equal to true. Starting this again. Okay, so this is true, this is check, uncheck. Okay, now we'll finally do this, and then we will wind up for this episode, and then we'll go more depth in following videos. Okay, so again, we have already tried these examples in our RibbonX series, but this is a bit different on how you are gonna add the items here, so I'm going to demonstrate that for you. So for combo box 1 and drop down box, these are actually the same way to add the items. So I'll just call this combo box and drop down. This is just a label, doesn't really matter if we change this or not. Maybe just to align them, I'm gonna add some space here. Oops, on this one. Okay. String type. So there are things that you can take care of from here as well, like you can add the collection. For example, you can add the image or image name. You can take care of things from properties as well. You can add key tip, and so on, super tip, and all these are there. Show image, and we are for now we're gonna add items using the code. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to double click or F7, and maybe here, or we'll just write a new code. Let's call this sup add items to drop down something like that. Now let's declare, let's call this theme item x as driven drop, and then we can say here globals factory dot get driven factory. Here we can create driven drop down item like this, and we can say this item dot label demo 1, and then we can say me dot combo box 1 dot items dot add, and then we're gonna add this item here. Okay, so this is how you have to add an item. Let's start this up and let's call this one driven loads. Okay, Control F5. So there's our drop down item. Okay, now let's add more example. Let's just loop through this. Let's just create a simple loop for this. Not here, sorry. Maybe we'll add this. Maybe we'll create 10 loops, and next I just gonna bring this between the loop. Instead of 1, let's use I for this purpose. So if you have to read this from somewhere, that's how you're gonna declare, and then that's how you can add these items here. Okay, now let's do the same thing for drop down. For drop down as well, let's just call this item Y, and same method, let's call this Y label is equal to demo X. Let's call this X and Y, and then me dot drop down 1. We can also maybe clear this at first. Like this. Oops, okay. It's supposed to be like this. So demo and then this. Okay, so this is how you can add an item. Maybe if you want to let your code run every time the selection is done, you can add the code here, the exchange, so there are more events that can be triggered using this. Maybe we can do a small thing. We can add a message box as well, or we can just use this. This is label for, okay. Label for dot label is equal to me dot this for combo box. So combo box 1 dot selected item dot text, maybe. Okay, let's try this first, and then maybe like this. Let's try these two examples. Okay, so whatever is selected, so you can use this as your condition and call additional codes based on that, or perform certain activities. Okay, so both works like this. Okay guys, that's gonna be all for now. If you found the video informative, please do not forget to leave a like and comment if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day ahead. Bye bye.